Anyway, the opening question is actually just going to be very quick, kind of like a rapid round. So 45 seconds to 1 minute. Not looking for deep answers, just like your knee-jerk reaction. What do you feel are the early signs of success or failure? So I'll set a timer for 1 minute and let you know when the time is up. So what are the early signs?
Success or failure of what? Like, I think it's different for different fields. So I'm...
For yourself personally, for the TEC, for the world, however, I mean, you could, I don't know that I want to be very specific with it. I want to give people some leeway to answer however whatever first comes to their mind, really.
Okay.
So I'm intentionally leaving it quite open. So what do you think are the early signs of success and failure? Edu, would you mind getting us started?
Sure. Early signs of success and failure. I feel like there is, in my case, when there is success, there is all the unconscious feeling of having achieved something. There is this excitement that comes from the upper part of my abdomen. That it feels like there is an energy and there is a positive like you just feel it, and I feel it's a lot of unconscious thoughts that just come into that common point. And for failure, I feel it's the same. It's something very similar. Like you start losing stamina, you start losing the willingness, you start sort of getting tired and don't have the energy, and even if you try, so it's this kind of your body or your mind or whatever you're putting your efforts are starting to shutting down, and that's how you start to realize the failure. That was a fast one. I will pass it on to Gideon.
Thanks, Edu. Well, I'm so glad you went before me. I totally agree with that. Like, actually, success is when I feel that also, like that excitement building in my gut. The other signs of success are when synergies kind of just start to happen, like almost magically, things start to connect, and you go like, "Whoa, how'd that happen? That's cool." And conversely, failures, like early signs of failures, is just things just start getting harder to do. It just feels like you're swimming upstream, you're like you're canoeing upriver. And then I think the other thing is that with success, like early signs of success, is people are happy, and just like it feels like there's not tension. There's like people are coming together, and when early signs of failure are, tensions start to mount because people can feel it. I will pass to Zeptimus.
Thanks, Gideon. Yeah, the same thing that came to my mind was something similar about synergies, but I don't think it applies to the TC, but I will tell it anyway. Like in team sports, basically, like when someone is like, the team is like going for, even if like what they are trying to accomplish is not like the most smart move at that moment, but even if they are, all together and it's like and then failure is like when someone is like doing one thing and then the other is like, no, this is the wrong path, so that I'm taking this one, and yeah, there's this coordination. Gideon was talking about synergies, but I don't think that applies to the TC because people working on different things and split it, even if they're doing different things. I think it's what DAOs it work on DAOs. I'll pass it to Kayan.
Hi guys. I'm not even sure. Is it appropriate for me to be here since I'm not a steward?
Yes. Yes, okay. It's always appropriate for people to join the Stewards Council and working groups. It's a super open call.
Okay, cool. And the prompt was, what does success and failure feel like?
What are the early signs of success and failure?
Okay.
And it's intentionally wide open, so I'm not going to try to zone it into something specific that's personal or professional or economic or spiritual, just wherever the question takes you.
Yeah. I resonate with everything that's been said. I think both the bodily sensations of, success feeling like a sense of euphoria or lightness or tingling, energizing in my body, and failure feeling heavy and slow. Also what Gideon said about a sense of, synergy and things coming together or synchronicity, versus, things just really not lining up and taking a lot of energy. Like that all resonates with me. And also I'd have to say, if something seems like an early sign of success or failure, then I would also just give it more time because it's still early. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thanks, guys. I'm not sure who hasn't gone yet. Okai, have you gone yet?
No, I've not gone yet. This is actually my second time stumbling upon this meeting. Yeah, the question: early sign of success and failure. I'll say.
And just so you know, I'm setting a timer for 1 minute, so you're not taken by surprise.
Okay, good. Early sign of success is, I guess, I would say validation, although it's not validation, but like, when you're starting something and people are like getting involved in it and like are super excited about like contributing to it, and I guess you see that like you have a product that like people need and is solving people's problem. I would say, okay, yeah, this can also classify as like early sign of success, but it's still early, so you cannot tell. Failure, you know what? I don't know the answer, to be honest. I'm like, every time I kind of like feel at something, I'm like, well, it's a lesson, and I'm probably gonna like move on. But yeah.
Cool. And I'll pass to Wonka for you. He hasn't gone yet.
Thanks, Tam. Yeah, I think that I would say when there's a resistance. I think that in everything in life, if you do things and they flow, like they are moving, but when you find resistance and you are pushing them in one direction or in another direction, I think that's a sign of failure, because yeah, you are forcing things to be how you want them to be and not like getting aligned with how things are going. And also when there's also like a resistance to change, I think that change is something very natural and something that comes faster and faster every time. So resistance to change, I also think it's something that we can associate with failure. And how about you, Tam? I think you're the last one.
I'll go next, but I'm not the last one, but I'll set a timer for myself. And I'll say, wow, everything really resonated. You kicked us off perfectly, Eduardo. I'd say there's just a few other things other than the sort of like gut instinct and feeling. When what you're doing attracts lots of other people or repels, so like there's this magnetism, it's like if you're attracting a lot of people to what you're doing, it feels like success. And if people are repelled by the work, then it feels less successful. Like this is probably going to fail if there's a lot of people who are going out of their way to not be a part of it. And then I would say the other thing is like when measurements are falling short. Like if you have a goal and you know that you need to do this every day to reach that goal, and you're like, oh, these 5 days I didn't do it, I'm going to fail. Like, so I would even say like just data, I think, is also an early indicator for
Is it me or we are silent?
Yeah, I think it is Tesla.
I'm hearing silence too.
Yeah.
Tam, I think you cut off at the end. Were you going to pass to someone else?
I think Chewy was the last one.
Yeah. And also I think Merit came in, but early signs of success and failure. Like I feel that the frequency of asking the question, who is this benefiting, like who is this for, whatever effort, should be like a question that comes back. because it's very easy to lose track. And I feel when that answer changes, I think that's a great that's just like a way of keeping track, because I also believe that a natural course to this is constantly coming back, because we might get lost is normal. So yeah, I feel that how we flow with that, it's an indicator itself. And I'll pass it to Mert.
Thank you, Chewy. So I've joined kind of a little late, sorry, but I guess the question is, what's the early signs of success for stewardship, right?
No, it's in general.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in general. Yeah, so early signs of success, I think it is harder to grasp what is the early sign of success rather than the failure. I think the early sign of failure is just to be able not put any milestone moving forward. So if you cannot moving forward with your purpose, it is kind of like, of course it's very straightforward and it doesn't make sense because it's like kind of very big, like it's very generalized approach. But what I see in my experience, that if you are not moving be able with the milestones in the early stage, I think this project or whatever the goal may fail more than likely. But in terms of success, I'm not really sure, because sometimes you are in the early stage, you are thinking that you are doing something well and you are moving forward with the milestones, but at the end you may think that it's not that successful compared to what you think. So maybe just last word, early sign of success may be if you can able to see what's next, it's the early sign of success, I believe. What we should do next, let's say. Thank you, Tam.
Cool. And Chewy, you did go while my computer was freaking out, right? Okay. Sorry, it just totally got stuck on me. I couldn't even force quit Discord. Okay, thanks for that, everyone. Super interesting comments, actually. So the next thing is we put together this Polis poll. I had help from Gideon as well, who helped with some of the seed comments. And I'd like everyone to take some moments and just, I think I'm going to set a timer for about 10 minutes, and we could just quietly do it ourselves. Take some time and think about the questions and answers. They aren't published in the order that they were written, so they may not necessarily be at the right, and they may not flow well, but just ignore that. And yeah, I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. So, hey Griff, hey Bear, you are, and Manu, you guys joined just in time to hop on the Polis. But since I have you guys here, I'm going to put you guys on the spot to answer the opening question as well. And we did a kind of a speed round, so just 1 minute or less. And the question is, what are the early signs of success or failure? And I'll pass to you, Bear, to answer first.
I would say, like, for success, probably like, a feeling of happiness, a feeling of realization kind of thing. I'm not quite sure, because I also don't share much like this idea of success and failure. I think everything like has its own purpose. So I guess it depends on the situation, and I don't know, it's kind of confusing for me. But maybe failure, yeah, it's when you feel stuck, maybe, and that things are not moving forward. That could be kind of like a sign. Yeah, I don't really have a clear idea. I'll just pass it to Manu.
Thank you, Bear. Well, for me, I think it really depends on the goals that you want to succeed in. I mean, some endeavors take years. Others you can see improvements within months or even weeks. So I would say that the early signs of success would be starting to develop a routine around it, so a habit, so that you have the inertia to keep moving despite the time it would take to complete that goal, and regardless of if you can see visual benefits right away or not. So developing the habit would be the early sign of success, and that includes, the emotional framework for you to keep moving forward. Um, yeah, I'll pass it to Griff.
Thanks, Manu. Yeah, I feel like sometimes you can just feel the like flow going through you, like the universe wants you to succeed. I really trust a lot of the intuition and like it's like when things seem easy, when there's serendipity, that it doesn't feel like you're swimming upstream. That's always a good sign that you're likely to succeed. And yeah, and when you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, excited to start the day, about working on that project. Even though it may not, even if it doesn't follow the metrics, like maybe you created some metrics for success and it's not following them. If I feel like a lot of times when you're swimming down, when you're flowing downstream and everything feels good, even if it's not making the metrics, it's a good sign that there will be success. It just might not be the success you imagined. And early signs of failure are the exact opposite. Swimming upstream, having trouble getting it done, not wanting to do it even. These are just signs that you should really consider whether or not you want to do it at all. And it's really hard because you make commitments and you want to do everything that you say you do, but at the same time, you gotta budget time for these failures. Sorry, thanks, Tam. I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, welcome, Enti. So you would be the last one to answer this question. What are the early signs of success and failure for you? And also, you have 1 minute. Sorry, I don't want to take you by surprise. I have a timer set for 1 minute.
I'm really caught off guard. I'm not really sure what are the early signs of success and failure. I don't know. I think it really depends on what did you define as success and failure in the first place. But I think I don't know. Just like at least on a personal level, I think you can see sort of motivation and expertise or experience as an early sign or either success or failure in like whatever you may want to accomplish for yourself. And that's probably that. I'm sorry.
No, thanks. That was a perfectly good answer. It's interesting how many people are feeling their intuition. I think that was almost unanimously one of the ways that we can tell. Okay, now I really want everyone to really take their time for this Polis poll. So we input about 37 seed comments, which really are meant just to sort of get a plot graph of sentiment really for these questions in the TEC. And it was around sort of challenging our assumptions about stewardship in the TEC and the transformation of the Stewards working group. So the link is here. I see a number of people had already started. You go-getters. I'll set a timer for about maybe 5 minutes while people take some time to answer or not to share their sentiment in this poll. Thanks. I'm gonna go mute now. So it looks like 13 people have already participated. So I guess that's all of us. Does anyone want 1 or 2 more minutes? Like flash? Okay, cool.
I'm still answering.
Still answering the questions.
Okay, yeah, let's take our time to do this. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and Tim, I think that the participation may be even when people are still midway through. I'm not sure though.
That seems to be the case. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's one that I do not understand. It says, I would agree. However, I think it's bad austerity measure because it creates a dependency. But I would agree
Yeah,
to what?
I think what this is. Okay, so that's probably a configuration on Polis. So you can actually add. University says share your perspective. You can actually add comments yourself here, and I think those are just comments that people added that then gets put into the seed comments. But this isn't. These statements are not. It sounds like somebody replied to a statement instead of formulating a new statement.
My bad. I thought it was about the perspective about that question. So yeah, my bad. Sorry, everyone.
No,
I did the same thing just now. So
it's cool. We're learning to use this. It would be kind of cool if we could have that thread of like comments to seed comments. But I'm not familiar enough yet with how Polis works to know if that's even an option. Gideon might, but it's my first time using it.
Yeah, I don't think so. We need somebody to help us learn this thing, I think. But anyway, we can talk about that later.
Hey, Nate.
hello. I do like Polis though.
Yeah, I really love it. These are all statements. I just feel like feedback from all the stewards and active community members would be really priceless. Okay, my 5-minute timer went off. Just want to know if anyone wants 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes, 5 more minutes even. Any hands or? Yes, you got it, Mary.
Maybe a couple of more minutes.
Okay.
So Tam, one of the problems is that we won't get the results right away. It takes, especially when it's a large group of questions like this, it takes like an hour or so to process.
That's okay. We have another thing planned for the second half. And we can share the results in the, async or in the stewards weekly. But thanks for letting me know. Okay, I have about a minute left. And I would say anyone, do feel free to create new seed comments. If you want to share another one that you want the stewards and others in the community to agree or disagree with, to get a sentiment on. Okay, cool. So we're going to move on to something else now. And it does seem as if most people voted. It says 14 voters and 36 votes per participant, 35.5 actually. So it just seems as if the last few votes are coming in. So I wanted us to do something around challenging our assumptions about stewardship in the TEC. And part of that is maybe focusing specifically on stewardship in a kind of mini retrospective. So if you hop onto this Miro board, it's our retrospective Miro board, so everyone should have access, but if you don't have access, please request access and I will make sure that you have it. And it's actually really quite simple. It's just rose, thorn, bud. So what we're gonna do is spend some time focusing on what is working. So the roses are what is actually working about the stewards working group, the role of the steward, or stewarding in the TEC. So what things would we say are working? What things do we say don't change, keep? Then the thorn would be really presenting a significant challenge. So not working, something about the role of the steward, something about stewarding in the TEC, something about the stewards working group. And then the last is an area that we could say could be further developed. So maybe it's something that's not working but has real potential if it was, amplified or something more was done, or areas that we should be focusing on in the stewardship of the TEC, stewards working group, or the role of the steward. So I'll give a few minutes for people to jump into the Miro board. I don't know if, is anyone having problems getting into this Miro board?
I don't think I can find a link to. Where is it?
Okay, it should be right here in the agenda. And the agenda is in the stewards channel.
All right, thank you.
No problem. So I'm going to set a timer for, let's see, 5, 6, 7 minutes for the, 6 minutes for what do you think is actually successful? What are the good things about stewardship in the TEC and this role in the working group? And I will mute, but if you have any problems connecting, please let me know, speak up or drop me a DM.
Hey Tam, did you say you want us to move on to Thorn as well, or just focus on Rose right now?
No, I'd say we focus on one at a time. I think we have plenty of time to do all three. So for now, an answer, for now, just the Rose. Hey, Mitch.
Hi there.
So if you hop in the agenda, there is a link to the retrospective where we're doing Rose, Thorn, Bud. And you could sort of follow along. The Rose is where we are now, and it's around doing things that are, focusing on things that are working in the Stewards working group, the role of stewards or stewardship in the TDC.
Cool, thanks. I'm probably just going to listen in. I don't have much ability to interact right now.
Okay, I see people are slowing down on the Rose. Do we feel like it's all done? Should we end a little early? Maybe we have about 30 seconds left to add the things that feel like they're successful about the steward's role, the steward's working group, or the stewardship in the TEC. Cool. Okay, now maybe we will move on next to Thorn. I see some people have jumped ahead. Cool. So Thorn is really, what are the main challenges that you see? What's not working well? What are we struggling with? What should we just stop? I'll give us 6 more minutes to work on the Thorn section of this board. Okay, we only have about 20 seconds left. And maybe we will take a moment to just read through the roses and the thorns, just to catch everyone up. Bear, would you feel comfortable reading out the rose for everyone? So what is working in the stewards?
Yeah, sure. I just wasn't able to complete it because I'm in my phone. So only
no problem.
maybe share the screen. I can read it from there.
You just want to pass to somebody else, maybe? It'll be a little easier.
Yeah, no worries. I pass it to Chewy.
Sure, you good to read out the roses?
Yeah, sure, Tom. Okay, so constant coordination with the team. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't see. Could you move? Oh, thank you. Retro and sprint planning. Decisions get made. Problems that arise in the TEC are tackled usually right away. Deep care about the TEC. Good vibes as a group. We invite contrary perspectives and opinions. We feel like a family. +1. The council. The Scrum events have to be a positive effect on prioritizing and adapting our focus and work. Supportive of one another. Teams feel ready for challenges ahead. The retrospectives are incredible. We have a lot of intrinsic motivation. Disagreements are respectful and productive. Holding sustaining institutional knowledge. The community has great and visible leaders that share the MVB and represent us well in the space. A lot of work is done by stewards, engaging in conflict before the community has to, setting the stage for contentious issues. We are our own economy. How cool is that? Hanging together builds trust and cohesion. We have been growing in difficult times. The processes have been successful until now. We have been providing wealth in multiple forms for stewards, feeling that we are all in this together.
Cool, that was really nice. And maybe let's see, we have 10 minutes left, good. And now let's have somebody read out the thorns, somebody not on their phone. So
I can take it down. Oh.
Okay, thanks up.
Okay. Self-onboarding is not really happening. Need to encourage more of this. Diffused focus across multiple areas. Not all stewards are active. Maybe all stewards should attend our weekly meetings to stay looped into what is happening in the TC. Funding for stewards did not pass. Signal for major change needed. Echo chamber. We will benefit from more outside perspective. People getting paid in a base for a role without any accountability of what was accomplished. No sponsoring of revenue generating ideas all the way from ideation through the planning towards management and execution or oversight +1. Those stewards feel more like a title rather than a role that one can easily come in and out of. It is supposed to. We need more. We need to do more with less. Information asymmetry in steward selection process. Very few full-time people. We need a new generation of TEs. The definition of steward, what are their responsibilities? A lot of meetings, uneven contributions, lack of engagement with leaders in TE. More than 50K were spent on stewards. What we accomplished with that money? Was it worth it for the TEC? Too much cost at a time with no revenues +1. Revenue generation ideas are great, but I have not seen concrete roadmap. Maybe my lack of involvement. No funding right now. We have not solved the principal agent problem. Stewards dictate the directions of things, pros and cons to this. It's not necessary to make huge change in one step. Change can be progressive, meaning that we can reduce spending from stewards first and not defund completely. What matters is not the number of the stewards, but the job done and the reward based on the stuff done. Hard to do long-term planning at this time. Nomination process is contentious. Stagnation in the work we are doing, creating comfort zones that produce rigidity for change. Rotation of stewards could lead to more change. We don't need to rotate, we need to have the best. We don't have to always be accelerating, we can take a time to reduce the pace and gain energize for future pushes. The market. Always the market.
Okay, cool. Now let's hop to Bud, which is basically where is there potential, or should we be spending more focus or energy? And I'll again set a timer for 6 minutes. We'll push us just to the end of this meeting. Okay, timer started. So I want to say we're starting to throw things at, this is really focused on stewardship and not TEC. Sorry, I know that we're starting to focus on like, how can we do better in the TEC? But really the focus area should be Stewards Working Group, the role of steward and stewarding in the TEC, not how can we solve financial problems or do better in the TEC. Sorry that wasn't clear in the beginning. We do a lot of these retrospectives where we talk about everything. This one I'm really trying to keep focused on just stewarding, if we can.
Tam, I will also be jumping out because in 5 minutes I will be presenting and talking about conflict management in DAOs. Everyone is welcome and invited, and thanks for sharing this time in this hour.
Thanks, Anka. Where are you presenting? Oh, he's gone. Okay.
He's on the MetaFest.
Oh, awesome. Great. Okay, so in our last minute, so we have some things that I think people started before it was clear that we really want focus on the stewards and not random and not general TEC. And in the interest of time, maybe I will read them out myself. Monetizing praise reward system platform. There's an opportunity to structure and clean up working groups so each of them unleash their true potential. Let's look at organizational structure and how stewards fit in. SAMPO, TE fundamentals. We have defined the characteristics of a steward. We should really define their purpose, clearly articulating why what we do or will do matters. Require full time. Don't split focus between multiple projects and orgs. Creative destruction. More measurable responsibilities equals greater accountability. The manifesto lists commitments and responsibilities, but they are not so measurable. Is the ABC working as expected? Maybe study it for future commons and improve the common sustainability. Clearly identifying our stakeholders. Remain focused on the essential value created by the TEC, offering services to other communities. Getting out of comfort zones always means learning something new, articulating specific responsibility and holding ourselves accountable. No compensation will change the steward role. If money wasn't an issue, will we change anything? Creating better feedback mechanisms for the TEC stakeholders to influence our decisions. What happened to Alexandra Bot could be a great tool for the next stewards stage. Finding ways to maintain stewardship in an era of shrinking financial resources for now. And we're past the top of the hour, so thank you everyone for joining, and see you soon.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tam.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.